So, guys, what you're about to hear is a video that I filmed going over our presentation with Collective Genius. Collective Genius, guys, is a mastermind we're a part of where we present every quarter on something we feel we're good at. Just to give you guys a background, what we presented on me and Chandler is about how we were able to create our business around our lifestyle, allowing us to travel and be virtual. And part of that was going over our sales process. And we talked mostly in this clip, we talked about setting expectations with sellers. So I want to show you what it looked like on our diagnosis script here, which is what our lead managers use, right? We used it to diagnose a seller and see if they're a fit to get an appointment, right? So this is, I just want to show you this before we go into that call so you have a little background on it, and it'll kind of give you a little idea of what I'm talking about. So for example, I just want to go over the script real quick. And not the script, but the setting expectations part, which I feel is one of the most important things. But, for example, I'm just going to read through it here, how it sounds like from our lead managers. So we're talking to a seller. We get it confirmed that they want to sell the property. What we're going to go into is say, hey, thanks for taking my call. Is it okay if I share with you, how we work before we get started? Great. Thanks. I'm just going to ask you some questions about your property and situation. And if you feel at any time we're not a fit, please let me know and I'll do the same. Seem fair? And if we are a good fit, we will schedule a call where a home buying specialist will present you with the number that your property qualified for. Is that okay? And you'll see me hit on these points and why it's important to say this, but I want to give you a background of me reading the script and understanding what this video is about. If you guys got any questions, leave them down below. Please like, subscribe, share this with someone. Share this with anyone getting into real estate wholesaling. And reality is, share this with anyone getting into sales, because setting expectations can be done universal through any type of closing. All right, guys, we're back. This week, we're at the Wall of the Berlin. Right, Melanie? We got the squad over here. So, recap last week in our biz. What did we learn? And the biggest thing I learned last week in our business is really not just tracking your KPIs, not just tracking those KPIs, right? Is also implementing exact systems and exact expectations for those callers. We knew what our lead managers, for example, were doing. We knew their numbers, but we didn't do nothing with them, right? Now we told them, hey, we want you to get this many contracts. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. But reality is, now what we did last week, I made a template for my lead managers that took the last 90 days of all their calls, how many conversations, right? Because you might call 100 people, but only have 5 conversations, only 5 people picked up. So I looked at their calls, their conversations, how many conversations it took to get an appointment, how many appointments to get a contract. And I averaged our 2 lead managers together to get expectations to what these guys need to set. So right now for our company, if we make 90 calls, we're guaranteed 1 appointment a day. So every lead manager, if you make 90 calls, they'll get 1 appointment a day. And we know we close roughly about 26% of our appointments. So that's 1 in 4. We want to get that number to like 30, 35. So 1 in 4. So now I can look back and say, look, how many calls does it take to get to that 1 appointment? And it was 90. And then how many, again, appointments to get a contract, which is about every 4. So you do 360 calls roughly. I'm just making a number here. Out of 360 calls, you should get a contract. So guess what now? Now this is where we can have them, like on a previous video, make their KPIs. If my guy Harry calls me, one of our lead managers, and tells me, Gino, I want to close, 50,000 in revenue for the company this month, because I know 50,000, I'm going to get, 1% bonus as a lead manager for the virtual assistants, right? They get 1% bonus if they close over like $30,000, right? So he would qualify for the bonus if he did 50. So that would mean he would get a $500 bonus at the end of the month. And how can he do that? Well, he knows our average deal size is 25K. So if our average deal size is 25K, and again, I'm walking here, they're all in front of me. We got the Berlin Wall again. But if their average deal size is 25K, he needs 2 deals, 2 contracts to close, right? So in order to get 2 contracts, he knows that, look, it takes 360 total calls to get 1 appointment, or excuse me, 1 contract, right? 1 appointment is 90 calls, and it takes, again, out of those 90 calls, you get 1 appointment. Every 4 will close. So 4 times 90, 360 calls to get a contract. Well, he knows if he wants to get 2, he needs to call 720 people, right? 360 times 2 to get your 2 contracts. So now we can set expectations to the T, to every day of what he needs to do. So you do 720 divided by, he works every day except Sundays, so 6 days a week. And let's just make it simple math. There's 4 weeks in a month, which I know there isn't exactly. That means he would be working 6 times 4 weeks, 24 days. So he's got 24 days to get 720 dials in. Now we can break that out per day. I don't know how the calculator on me, but whatever that is per day, now we know his expectation. So we can set that for him, right? I can say, Harry, if you're not calling blank sellers, whatever number that is, then you're failing yourself. And that's gonna affect your scores, right? So you're doing it to yourself. And now he has that expectation. When we see him not doing it again, we can hold him accountable. It's not just a number. We actually can hold him accountable to his goals, right? So that's a little tip on the business. Now in the last week, actually, I don't think I've done this for the last couple weeks. We've been to, me and my girlfriend, I've been to Nazaré, which is where the biggest waves in the world are in Portugal, right? Nazaré. And look it up on YouTube. It's pretty cool. They got some of the biggest waves. That was probably one of my favorite cities. I would say my top 3 we've been to on this trip. Nice, laid back, charming city town, or ocean, beach town. I don't know, ocean town. Just nice little beach town, cheap. Portugal is a lot cheaper than any of the other places we've been to. What else did we do? We've also been to Madeira. It's an island off of Morocco owned by the Portuguese. It's like 3-hour plane ride from Lisbon, Portugal. And it's amazing, man. It's freaking amazing out there. It's again, way off of Morocco, so it's isolated, but the fishing there, I'm a big fisherman, the fishing there is like world class. If you look up like Madeira marlin, M-A-D-E-I-R-A, Madeira marlin, it's like the biggest in the world. So I went on a 1-day charter. We didn't catch nothing, but hey, it's fishing, not catching. But I recommend Madeira too. We stayed at an all-inclusive place, right? Food, drinks, lunch, breakfast, you know, everything, dinner, right? All food. It was only like 130 a night, 130 euros, which qualifies like 160 a night US. So I would recommend it for sure. And then now, since then, look at him. Now, since then, we're in Berlin. So Jared flew in, our sales manager, Big Jared over there. He flew in, there he is. And then, I thought they were looking at it. And now we're in Berlin for the next week. And then after the November 1st, we head to Istanbul. But right now we're enjoying Berlin. Pretty cool city. I mean, it's got a lot of history. At the same time, it's very new because, you know, obviously in World War II, that thing got bombed. So I don't think there's a lot of original buildings here, which is a good thing to see, since we've been seeing buildings from 1500, 1600 the entire trip. Now I feel like more I'm in Atlanta. But hopefully, since Jared came to visit us from Georgia, his first time out of the country, we can take him to some German towns, though, to give him that feel, that old Bavarian feel of old Germany. But But anyway, so if you guys have questions, leave it down below. Again, my biggest tip here is, again, not only allow your team members, like last week, build their KPIs, but hold them accountable. Find those numbers, right? For example, those callers, find how much it takes to conversations, how many conversations to appointments, and then you can really track down, hey, you need to have this many calls to this many conversations, and, you know, we can hold you accountable to that. And you can do that for any position. Literally break it down, right? How many buyers does it take to call to sell this deal? Okay, well, just take it out and figure it out, you know? Backtrack the numbers. Go backwards, and you can now find and predict and forecast where you want to be at. So if you guys got questions, leave it down below. Please like, subscribe. We're getting more videos coming. And thank you.